I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
All right, back in, baby. Oops.
Whoa, that's.
We can't do it.
I don't know if
it's bad for you too.
I don't know if we say that often.
We don't
at all during the duration of entire podcast, and we've said 4 times now.
We did. Yeah,
that'll be the
Should we just
time we said.
Sure. All right, thanks, Lynch. Because I don't want to get our YouTube penalized, guys. By the way, I am at Comedy Connection in Providence, Rhode Island this Wednesday. One show. Come check that out. And the following night, I am in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, at Music Hall. One show there as well. So come check me out. And then after that, I got a couple more dates. I'm trying to add Buffalo and Philly right now. They tried to give me dates early in April. I'm not going to be here, but so we're going to hopefully get something going soon. I also just added Boston June 12th. And I also have DC and Charlotte and hopefully some other stuff. So welcome back to the show. I'm with Ryan Lynch. He's a nice young man. You're looking very chiseled right now, bro. I know you have the workout challenge going.
Thank you. It's probably because I haven't been eating. So thanks for pointing that out.
Why haven't you been eating?
I've had a little bit of a wonky. I've had a really bad sleep and eating schedule the last couple of weeks. So that might be why I look a little chiseled. Thank you. But
yeah.
I need to not look like this.
No, you do, dude. Because I'll tell you why. And Ricky made this point to me the other day, and he's right. Being jacked is like not good for comedy, bro. Well, can you think of like a big jacked comedian? You either have to be skinny or fat.
DeStefano's kind of strong. Is he strong? Or is he just a little big?
I think he's just sort of naturally like that. I think he's pretty lean.
Yeah.
You got to be like the sort of like lean, slender look that you sort of naturally have makes you really photogenic.
Thank you.
So like if you don't beat yourself up about not eating enough, bro.
It's not like I don't like how I look. I like feel really bad. Like I'm really tired and I feel translucent. Like my skin, like underneath my eyes, you can see the blue veins. It looks like I'm like a shrimp spring roll.
Yeah, a deep sea sort of like translucent fish.
Yeah. So yeah, looking good on camera. Obviously, that's the most important thing. So if you're reminding me then I should keep doing what I'm doing.
Do whatever you want, and don't let me talk you out of it. But I'm just saying you look really good. So I don't want you to not feel. I don't want you to feel bad about looking good.
So I feel like that's what feedback for models is. They feel terrible, like they're not eating,
you're not
sleeping.
Trying to do this though. They are.
Yeah, but like I'm trying to still do great stuff on camera. Just I'm not intentionally doing this for that.
I know.
But for you to be like, no, you look great, and deep down, and I appreciate that, and deep down I know like, okay, but I'm afraid that my heart's gonna stop.
Oh, because you're
any
just like,
second.
Yeah, not eating or sleeping. I feel you on the sleep part. I sort of tend to have the opposite reaction to not sleeping, as I just can't stop eating.
Interesting.
Which is terrible. But dude, so interesting though. I like this conversation. So Lynch, so this is the other thing. Okay, let's talk more about jacked comedians, because there are some muscular comedians, but like in the flesh, they're very lean, like jacked. And there are exceptions. But the ones who are exceptions are like literal beefcakes. Like, and it's like
Dave Bautista doing a set like that.
I don't know him.
He's never mind. He's a big actor.
Okay.
He's like Dwayne The Rock.
But didn't he get skinny now?
I mean, relative.
Guardians of the Galaxy guy.
For him, but I think he's still a rock.
Oh, well, like Nick Simmons is like a literal bodybuilder, and he has a podcast about like whether or not, I'm sure it's about other stuff too, but like one of the funniest things they do is they decide whether people are natty or not. Do you know what that means?
What does natty mean?
Whether or not they're taking steroids or not.
Natty. I'm trying to.
So they look at guys. They look at guys' bodies like natural. Natty's natural.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, he's on, and like they know all the stuff. It's just like very funny. He's hilarious. But for the most part, there's not a ton of like super jacked comedians, bro.
This guy's beefy.
He's the man. He's a
Beefy Biceps. Beefy Biceps.
He's also a really good writer. He's a funny guy, that guy. But like, all right, Jordan Fisher's fucking yoked, but he's lean as fuck too. He's like jacked, bro.
So you think that being jacked makes it more difficult to sell? What is it about it that makes you a better looking comic?
Dude, I have no idea.
But it's just a vibe.
I don't know. Like when Ricky said it, it made sense to me. I'm like, oh, that is an interesting thing. And like, think about all the like great rock stars, bro. They're like rail thin,
Emaciated.
like not just like Mick Jagger, David Bowie, even like Thugger in his prime. Like these like skinny, angular fucking sex pots. What's his name? Oppenheimer, that guy.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, fucking stud. And like, I get that we're not talking about that. We're talking about comedy, but like, I don't know, bro. Whatever he said, it resonated with me. And it's true. Like, I don't want to watch some fucking big jack dude talk about it. Like, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
Go lift stuff. Get out of here.
Oh no. You know, Ricky has the power to make anything sound really
But
compelling.
bro, he understands like the industry. Like he understands, like he'll see like a young guy who like a young comic and be like, that guy is like the full package. Like he sees people as like, do they have what it takes to like be big or not? You know what I mean?
And part of that is looking like the way we've been talking about.
Dude, obviously there's no rules, you know what I mean? But like, I think he's onto something with it.
Okay.
And he'll be like, and he does it in a very like pragmatic, like he's not comparing to himself. He's literally just like, that guy like could do it.
He's very third party
That
about
guy
it.
could do it. He's very third party about it.
That's very nice.
It's very impressive. So all this is to say, as Francis would have said back in the day, you look great. And that shouldn't stop you from trying to achieve whatever goals you're trying to achieve.
Thank you.
And whatever I'm talking about is obviously non-binding. But I've heard other people say things similar.
I'm going to hold you to it if I have a bad day.
It also bothers me, and good. It bothers me too, because like I am sort of in this appearance range that they don't call it this, but like one might call it the no-fly zone.
The
It's
no-fly zone?
You know, I'm not like fat enough to be fat. I'm not like skinny enough to be like a skinny, hot guy on camera. You know what I mean? I'm charming. Okay, I got some stuff going for me. Just sitting here calling myself charming. That's crazy. But yeah, like I feel like an unmarketable blob.
I don't know what to say to that.
You don't have to say anything.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
It's all right.
I haven't put too much thought about like the business side of.
Good. You shouldn't. It's all fucking bullshit.
Yeah. That's you're doing great.
Thank you, Lynch. I feel like I have purpose. Like I'm happy with what I'm doing. When I think about how can I improve, of course I always think about my appearance. But there's been times where my appearance has been where I look back, I'm like, oh dude, you were like looked amazing. And like everybody thought that too. Like at that time in your life. And you didn't. For whatever reason. Like you had some girl who didn't like you back and you were convinced that if you could just improve yourself, they might like you someday. Not realizing it wasn't even about me. You know what I mean? So anyway, it's a dangerous game that we play, especially in this rejection loop that we find ourselves in. So you're always like, oh, fuck, I wasn't good enough. That guy was rude to me. Maybe if I'm just better, they'll pay attention to me.
Yeah.
It's sort of like what comedy perpetuates that, because that's all comedy actually is. Also, you go on stage and you want people to like your act. And when they don't, you don't like that. And you're like, well, I need to be funnier. And then they'll laugh. And then I'll get every person to laugh. I know you're up there, you're killing, but there's one fucking guy and he's not laughing. And that guy's driving you nuts. And it's like this, and you stop appreciating all the people who love it.
All the laughter.
And you're just looking at that one fucking guy. And you're like, I mean, that guy, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's a trend. Which is why even like communicating with other comics, there's this weird thing where like, if you're too accessible, people may not respect you. So you have to like, it's this very like primal, toxic environment, dude.
Yeah. I'm noticing that there's a lot of politics, even at like the amateur entry level.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful with what you say. You have to gatekeep, just ensure that, you're in a good spot and protect yourself to a degree.
You are not at the amateur entry level, by the way.
Well, just with,
I know what you mean.
I'm just saying at all phases of being a comic, there's a politics to it and you got to play the game. But that's just how business is in any facet.
Yeah.
But it's just, it can be yucky and it can be intrusive.
So I think a really helpful thing to do sometimes, because a lot of the times you'll end up dealing with like pretty unreasonable people whose reality doesn't reflect the way that normal civilized people behave, And it's important to remember that you're typically a reasonable guy. So if you don't agree about something that someone wants you to do, there's nothing wrong with just like, if you get pressed and put in a corner and they're like, well, explain to me why you don't want to do this. There's like usually a pretty reasonable answer that is not offensive. Like, let's say we're talking about collabing on a post and someone's like, why don't you want to collab on this? What's wrong with being like, oh, I just don't like think it's a good fit for like the stuff I'm posting right now. I'll share it, tag me, or I won't share it. But like, why are you forcing me to post, dude?
Yeah. Yeah. The only reason why I'm not going to defend myself. Yeah, I don't want to collab post with this guy. That's just what it is. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe necessarily to what he might post and want to collab post with me. And yeah, you have to go into hanging out with everybody, knowing who you are, what you stand for, and not bending. Just like
gotta
respecting yourself.
Respecting yourself.
It's like I'm learning a lot about that when I'm put in these situations about respecting yourself and not to feel bad for taking a stance on something.
Totally.
And so, you know, it's good learning experiences. So I'm working on that. It's nice to say no.
100%. Then, dude, so the daylight savings time or whatever the transition that just happened is, what's it called? Is daylight savings time in the fall?
I think they're both called
They're
daylight
both called
savings.
daylight savings time.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Spring forward.
spring forward time.
Lose an hour.
Lose an hour. It's a good time to sort of implement some sort of change in your life. Now, this is important. I think it's I think it's important to make sure that like your changes that you want to make are realistic. So say that you want to make a body transformation. That's just a very straightforward one that everybody can kind of relate to, and we'll use this as the example. But let's say you want to make a body transformation, right? And you're like, that's it. I'm sick of living this life where I this and that and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to make sacrifices and I'm going to do everything I have to do in order to like make this happen. And sometimes you can like very much go overboard with that. So what, now you're going to go to like your family party and like not eat anything that they made because you now are on some crazy diet. Like there has to be a balance. Like surely you can accomplish your goals without having to be insane. You know what I mean? Because like, part of the joy of looking this way you want to look, like you're going to take away all of these like amazing joys of life. Like, your mom, fucking aunt made her special thing. You're not going to have a bite of it, dude. It's fine. You can do that. You can do that and still accomplish your goals. So like, I think it's good to be like realistic with the things that you want to do and change. Because when you're too extreme, like you can't just like go from living one way to just living like a fucking monk overnight.
No, little changes.
Little changes. Be realistic. Just give it a shot. Dude.
Daylight savings is a good time for like it's like your second chance at a New Year's resolution.
Exactly.
You saying that sparked that idea. That's a great idea.
Lose an hour, lose a bad habit. How about that?
That should be the name of a limited series.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy. It's fun. You mentioned that daylight savings in the spring forward spring. Take your allergy medicine now. It's too late already.
Is it?
It's too late already.
Is it?
Yeah. You needed to be on it 2 weeks ago. So this is your reminder. If you haven't yet, be on it. Have you started taking?
You'll breathe next year. I don't need it.
Oh.
I know.
Forgot about that.
I can't breathe typically. Like I tend to be sort of congested, but it's not like, that's just like how I am. It's not allergies. It's not seasonal.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel worse in the summer.
Wow.
Or the spring or any time, any particular time.
That's pretty nice that you get to, avoid that. That's a bad one.
Yeah. Anyone who's ever worked on the production side of this podcast has suffered from allergies.
Really?
Poor Chris, dude.
Really?
Chris is an allergy sufferer.
Damn. It'll ruin your day. It'll ruin your day. So when I go to Florida next week, Tampa Bay, there's horrible pollen in Florida. Horrible pollen. I send a big warning to my friends. Be prepared. You need to be prepared. So,
dude, I've been picking apart, like as I've been editing these videos in Florida. My next video that's going to come out at the end of this month takes place in Florida. And I've talked about it a bit, but like, I don't get why people don't like Florida so much.
Me neither.
If you don't live, like, it's one thing if you live there and like the culture isn't for you or whatever isn't for you. As a visitor, it's hard for me to imagine the pros not outweighing the cons of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no problem. Like, I think the whole, like, everybody from Florida being a certain way thing is overblown. There's 20 million people in Florida. Clearly not everybody's exactly the same. And all the areas of Florida are very different in every way, not only culturally, but also ecologically. I think it's a great place,
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of great stuff. Great cities, great nature.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. My sister lived there for a while when I was in college, and I never went out to visit. Or at least the first 5 years that she was out there, I never visited because I was like, I don't want to go there.
She lived in Tampa?
Yeah, she lived in Tampa, and I was like, I don't want to go there. Florida, SNL makes fun of Florida every weekend update. I've been there for Disney World, and that's like a little bubble place. So Florida's gross. Then I finally visited. I'm like, this place is fantastic. Sure, there's no like suburban grass, cobblestone, cul-de-sac streets, or not as many as you would see in the Northeast. And, it's a lot of highway to get where you're going. But once you get there, it's beautiful.
It's great.
A lot of access. There's so many places to go. Beautiful restaurants and bars and pretty little towns, and the weather is solid and the people are friendly. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So I enjoy going to Florida. It's disrespected to a degree it doesn't deserve.
Yeah.
Does not deserve the disrespect.
It's gone overboard. All the Florida man stuff, I get it. It's funny, and I get that there's like weird news stories, but like, yeah, it gets worse of a rap than it deserves potentially.
I know we're floating them up, but we should look up what today's Florida man is just to see.
Yeah. The Tampa too is a good city. It's like pretty salt of the earth. Like everybody's really fit. It's not really pretentious.
Everyone's beautiful.
Everyone's really good looking. And it's not like bougie like Miami in like a good way. You know what I mean? It's like people are chill. People are accessible. It's like a good culture, a good vibe.
You want to hear today's
Florida man? Yeah, let's hear it.
Florida man? Florida man's 911 rants. Quote, kill Trump, nuke New York City. Boom.
Kill Trump and nuke New York City?
Yeah, that's what some guy in Florida wants to do.
Interesting. Those two things seem to...
Very big.
Some men want to watch the world burn.
It's a big comma.
Yeah, it's all of it. He wants to take it all down.
Yeah, but it's good. My barber today, I got a haircut right by you right before I got here. I'm wearing my hat. And I always don't ask for product after. And they always are a little upset because they want you to walk out with the product because they just made a pretty little thing with your head. And I was going to wear my hat no matter what. So I say no product, and then I put my hat on. And there's a little like melancholy in his eye when I walk out like that.
Did you go right before you came here?
Yeah, I came straight from.
Do you like, when I get a haircut, dude, it takes me a while to get to a place where my hair isn't getting all over the place. Does that happen to you?
No, maybe a day or maybe one shower away.
Yeah, typically one shower.
One shower, but this guy has a hot cloth and he like puts it in my ears and rubs it. He gets it all out, or at
Does
least
he
the most
shave
he
your
can.
neck?
Yeah. Are you worried I'm sitting on your couch?
I don't care at all. No, I wasn't. That's not why I was bringing that up.
Okay.
No. I knew you were gonna think that, but no. I'll be like sitting at my computer and I just notice like hair dust.
Yeah.
Like literally just like little hairs, like of haircut hairs.
Haircut hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. My guy is typically. I'm typically in a really good mood and I'm down to chat with my guy Mo, and we have great conversation. But today I was just tired and I kind of just was being polite. Hi, want this? Good to see you. Doing well. And then I kind of just zoned out, and I felt like he thought I was suicidal because of how unattentive I was.
Did he
to conversation.
Did he ask you what was up?
He said, "How's it going?" I said, "It's good. It's good." And that was it. And I felt bad because I wanted to say something like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm a little tired today." But you don't say
It's
that.
weird,
You don't
yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
"Hey Mo, I'm a little sleepy. Everything's good, but I'm just a little sleepy today." But no, now I think that this guy who's totally not thinking about me is thinking that the person he cut his hair for was his last haircut.
He's starting to get you. He's trying to get you going. He's like, so anything cool happening with the Yankees? He's like trying to get your usual.
Aaron Judge looks healthy, Ryan.
Judge is looking good.
Yeah.
He's adopted. Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I have had a day filled with shit that I don't want to do, which sucks. It sucks when you have stuff that you need to do, but you have things that you can't get around doing. And I hate to pile all of those into one day, but I just don't have time. I'm not here much in the next few weeks. So I had to do a thing with this graphic designer because I need to like figure out how to reformat some of my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the only time I could do it was like early in the morning. So I wake up early in the morning. I get on with him. The first thing he says to me, he's like, dude, you look tired. I'm like,
Oh,
thanks, dude. Yeah, whatever.
you don't say that to
Can
someone.
you just show me how to do the fucking thing, dude?
That's the equivalent of someone saying you should smile more.
Yeah.
That's just a horrible thing to receive.
You look tired. Yeah. Is bad. I learned that lesson young that you don't say that to people.
Uh-oh, what?
I said it to my friend and she like didn't talk to me for like 2 weeks. No, she just like walked away from our lunch, which was like, and then I like learned my lesson. I was like, I shouldn't have said that. Like, especially not to a girl. This is basically like saying you look ugly, which is
What, you should smile more or you look tired?
You look tired, which I of course didn't mean it that way. But like, oh, Lynch is trying to catch something in the air. And I thought that
You can keep going.
I thought you were pointing at me and being like, oh.
No, sorry, that's taking too much time.
But yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way. But yeah, dude, like I had to file taxes for my old foundation, which I'm leaving and starting a new one. The new one's called Illuminate Global. Very cool.
That's
So,
very LLC.
you know,
Like Jeopardy, like survey says, like names of like an LLC.
Illuminate Global,
Illuminate Global.
which will be supporting all of the previous Afghanistan endeavors, including the Hillary Library in Afghanistan, among other things. So that's cool. But anyway, I had to do that. I had to go to physical therapy, which is like my new physical therapy place is amazing, but it's just really far away. So like having those 3 things back to back to back, it's like annoying as fuck. I'm like, I need to edit, but whatever.
What part of the city you headed to for therapy?
Upper East Side.
That's up. That's far.
Yeah, but whatever. On the mend physically still, feeling pretty good. So that's all good. But yeah, dude, sucks to have to do fucking bullshit you don't want to do.
Mm.
And it just led into me, like, maybe I was just taking it out on him and it's not fair, but like it's funny, my dad and I like got into a little bickering situation about something very stupid, but like he started like pushing all my buttons. So like the event itself wasn't that bad, but it just led into things that annoy me. And then it just like kept snowballing.
Mm-hmm.
And like he would just make it worse and worse and worse. And like, you know, I still probably went overboard. So this is what happened. And guys, I know that this is going to sound like I've overreacted. So just allow me to say that to begin with. But the conversation started with talking on the phone, as we always do. And he's like, we just went to this place called Big Cheese. We just went to this place called Big Cheese. I'm like, dude, you've told me about Big Cheese 700 times. Why are you saying this place called Big Cheese? Like, I don't know what it is. It's frustrating. Like, do you not know that we talk about it all the time? If this, and there's no reason for me to think that he is not fully with it mentally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he forgot. Like, there was something about it that I was like, I know about Big Cheese. You've told me about it literally 700 times. Like, how do you not remember? And then that just started turning into you know what? He's like, I don't know how it got here, but he's like, in families, you just let stuff go. I'm like, do you? I'm glad those are words that you live by, but those are not words that I live by. I don't think that's fair. I was like, I think that idea promotes bad behavior. Mm-hmm. Now I can just do whatever I want and you have to
let it go.
And you have to let it go. So now you are a victim of my behavior constantly because I tried my best. Trying your best is not enough for me. So it turns into that. And then he goes, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll try to be better. He like does that whole thing. And like a lot happened for us to reach that point. I know it's sounding like I was being difficult and maybe I was, but some of these things are annoying trends that bother me.
Yeah.
So I immediately felt bad about it. It's fine. It's not a problem.
It's all good. You love your dad.
We went back and forth. But like, yeah, it's like, bro, we're having these conversations all the time. Like, am I the only one participating and listening? And I know you're the one not remembering that you told me something, but like, can you remember? You said you go to this place, Big Cheese, 700 times.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurant. He then later texted me a picture of it.
A picture of it after you got off the phone?
Of Big Cheese. And I was trying to be funny. I was like, why don't you put a photo with my contact information, just writing down that I know what Big Cheese is. So anyway.
My mom keeps texting me for the last year and a half, asking me what my address is. And she keeps texting me, asking what my email is.
And you reply to this text every time and she doesn't see him?
I reply in the moment, then the next time I see her, I was like, Mom, I told you. I told you. So I get it. I get it. Hey, Rye, sorry to be a bother. What's your email?
Yeah.
Real quick, what's your email? Oh, she's a sweetheart.
I'm coming at. Is it cool if I come at 11? Yes. Then get a call. Hey, is it cool if I come at 11? Dude, I already
You're
replied.
like, yes. Then you get an email. Hi.
Yeah. So funny, dude.
I think, all right, this is the last.
Complaining about our loving parents.
Complaining about loving parents. Nothing shuts me down faster than when my mom suggests the TV show or movie that she recently watched.
Why?
Whatever she recommends, I don't want to watch it
How come?
because it's trash. I hear the synopsis. I'm not interested. And you know what I do? Instead of saying like, no, I'm not interested, and then her trying to sell me on it, you can only do this every once in a while. You say, oh, I've already seen that. And then you can just... And then when they still talk about it anyway, you can just be like, oh, yeah, that part was really what happened there. And they just, they don't know. They don't know. It makes the explanation go down by like 74%. Not quite 3/4, but it'll save you some time if you just say that you saw it already.
There is something interesting about peddling things versus just doing them. Like, if you try to make somebody watch something or listen to something, they're not going to. But if you like watch and listen to things and don't try to get other people to, suddenly people are like, what are you watching?
Yeah.
What are you listening to?
Yeah. That's with everything.
I know.
I lost all of my recommendation privileges with my friends that I lived with in college because I just kept forcing. And then it was like something like, okay, I'm not going to watch it because you want me to watch it more than I even want to watch it. And I wanted to watch it before you started annoying me about it. And now I'm going to get pleasure. I'm going to get more pleasure out of not watching it and seeing you get upset about it than I would had if I were to just watch it on my own. Totally. And so I've learned to cut back on that. And I do more of just, I'm watching something. Yeah. I didn't sell Victoria on Severance, and now we're watching it together. And that's what I wanted to happen all along.
I've heard it's very good.
Yeah.
I watched the first season. I couldn't get into the first episode of the second, but people have been like, you just need to stick with it.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I agree. I'm going to say this once. I watched it when it came out 3 years ago, and I waited 3 years. And I said when it came out, like, this is the best show ever. This is different, unique, crazy show, not like anything else. It's eerie, and it sets a vibe, and it's directed by Ben Stiller, so it's just great. And then it didn't happen for 3 years. And now everyone's telling me, have you seen Severance? And I know it's coming from a I want to recommend this show to you kind of place. But yes, I've seen Severance. I saw it years before you saw it. So yes, I am watching Severance. And
I watched it when it came out too.
Yeah, I know you did. And people don't appreciate the time that took between season 1, episode 9 and season 2, episode 1. Because for most people, it was just a click of a button. For me, it was 365 days, 3 times.
Which is how many? Can you do that in your head?
You probably could do it. 365 plus 365 is 730, right? Plus another 365, 995 days.
I know it would be 1,095.
Fuck.
So, dude, happy that the sun is going to start setting later again. Always love to see that come back. And while we lose an hour, we do not lose any comfort because in this transition time, we still are wearing our MeUndies. For me, it is the black classic boxer brief, stretchy, delicious. Also, just really feels nice no matter which temperature. Cool when it's hot, hot when it's cold. Love to see it all. Just keeps me flexible, feeling good all the time. Don't even have to worry about it. My entire drawer is filled with these. They also have every style you could want of all underwears, both for men and women, different designs, different colors, different patterns, something for everybody. WeUndies, MeUndies.
YouUndies.
Love to see it.
Just like a perfect situation, MeUndies is everything you need it to be whenever you need it to be what you want it to be.
Amen.
Every single time. So we love working with MeUndies. We love wearing MeUndies. I like working out in MeUndies. Pretty much anything I do, as long as my MeUndies are on, we're feeling pretty comfortable in our personal lives, in our physical movements, and in everything. So they got styles for everybody. I see you got the black pair right there. Good old Faithful. They also got tons of different critters and designs, and they have loungewear that is buttery soft. So we are just absolutely thrilled that we get to keep working with MeUndies and keep being the MeUndie kind of guys that we are.
The MeAndersons.
The MeAndersons. So, Another reminder, good things come in big packages at MeUndies. Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping on orders of $75 or more at MeUndies.com/OopsPodcast. Enter promo code OopsPodcast. That's MeUndies.com/OopsPodcast. Code OopsPodcast for 20% off. MeUndies, Julio.
Comfort from the outside in. So, dude, Ben Stiller has been like going at people on Twitter who like criticize Severance. It's really funny.
He's been very
It's
interactive
refreshing.
too.
Yeah.
I like a story when a guy in comedy graduates into drama, and I think that's really awesome. I love Jordan Peele. He's a genius.
Severance, do you see Severance as a dark comedy in any capacity? I don't know. That's not a leading question.
It's my favorite. I don't really know how to genreize it. It's one of my favorites. It's like a it's like a thriller, psych thriller, but you know, it has good writing, so it's funny. There's comedic relief. Just like the good horror movies. And the Jordan Peele movies are thought-provoking and scary and anxiety-inducing and funny. And I think those blend so well together. So I'd say a psychological thriller, but I think there's humor in most of those shows.
Lupita Nyong'o is really good in Us, by the way.
Which character is
Like
that?
the main lady.
Oh my God,
She's so good, bro.
I forget if she was nominated or not, but she absolutely murdered it.
I think she won for 12 Years a Slave.
She did. And she's also
Which
going to
is
be in Nolan's
amazing.
new movie.
Oh, interesting.
The Odyssey? I think The Odyssey is what he's doing next.
And
She's going to be in it.
Doesn't that have like a record-breaking budget or something, that movie?
Probably.
That's going to be crazy.
Probably. If he hasn't broken a record on a budget, Oppenheimer will allow him to continue breaking budget records.
Have you seen Megalopolis?
No, I've been a couple of shows that I listened to. They've said that what's his name?
Francis Ford Coppola.
He really was off his rocker because he had full control over everything. So I heard it was like just like a lot of plot holes and
Self-financed, really expensive, like was trying to make it forever. It's like his masterpiece. I haven't seen it, but I'm always so curious about like when people get in creative wormholes, especially because it happens to like the great filmmakers too.
yeah.
And even like, you know, guys who are like really, 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 really good, when they just get carte blanche, they tend to just make a movie that's too long. I need to rewatch, what is it called? Killers of the Flower Moon?
Mm-hmm.
I need to rewatch that.
Did you not give it a fair shake?
So I went to see, my show got canceled in Cincinnati, which was bullshit. I had like a good amount of tickets sold, but this particular place, if you don't sell X amount of tickets, they can cancel on you. And I was already there. And they're like, because that's when like me kind of like adding onto my trips can fuck me. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go early and go to a national park. And then I'll have my show. And then I was there early and they canceled the show. And then like people showed up and didn't know that I'd canceled the show. And we're like, I drove 3 hours. What the fuck? I was like, they emailed you. Did you not check the email? They're like, oh, sorry, I didn't check the email. But like, what the fuck? I'm like, God. So anyway, that night I went to see Killers of the Flower Moon. And there was no one in the theater. And because there was no one in the theater, I was just on my phone the whole time. And when I would look up, I was like, oh, actually, this is awesome. But then I like wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
You like it?
I didn't give it a fair shake. I watched it after a very, very long day, and I was falling in and out of sleep. I didn't really even watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
I saw the beginning, the middle, the end. I was dozing off during it.
As I watched it, I was like, acting is bullshit. You want to know why I was thinking that? Because all the best performances in that movie are from people who've never acted before. And they cast the right people who looked right for it. There's a fucking, you know, prolific director at the helm, and some of the best performances I've ever seen, just overshadowing all these like generational greats.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, there's a lot, like so many people that can do this.
Yeah. A bunch of good stuff's coming out though. Ari Aster's what's it called? His fourth movie's coming out. It is called, I forget, but it's a Western that takes place during COVID with Emma Stone, Joaquin Phoenix, who's the guy, Pedro Pascal, is he the Last of Us guy?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Austin Butler. Did I say Emma Stone? I don't know, but she's fantastic. And then Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, who are just doing Yorgos movies left and right now. They have a new one coming out
A new Yorgos movie
coming out sometime this year.
Sick.
So I'm excited about all the film. And then QT canceled The Movie Critic, and Tarantino.
Oh.
Was that cool?
I didn't know who you were talking about.
If
I
you
was just thinking about QuickTime, the QuickTime
QuickTime Movie Maker
QuickTime files.
did an export at 1080p, so
Yeah.
you could transfer it to your
a
phone.
movie file.
A movie file, so you could transfer it to your phone, and upload it to LinkedIn. I'm curious what he's gonna do. It's been the longest drought between films.
Really?
Yeah,
What was the last one? Once Upon a Time? 19?
2019.
Oh, it was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He, you know, if we're going to talk about people who make long movies, his library is his catalog is like pretty bulletproof. Like the movies that he directed.
Well, like on average, the length.
I don't think, no, there just isn't really a bad one. Like I never really gave Kill Bill Part 2 a fair shot.
Mm-hmm.
The first one I absolutely love. The second one, I suspect if I had the energy, I would really like. But like, look at these movies, man. I mean,
I think I've seen every single. He's had 9.
Hateful Eight, unbelievable. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Django's unbelievable. Inglourious Basterds, amazing. Kill Bill, Jackie Brown, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, all amazing. Is that it?
No. Death Proof. Jackie Brown. You said Jackie Brown. Death Proof is one of them.
Death Proof. When was that? 2007.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never saw that.
That one's the most brushed under the rug. That's what I think like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes has ranked the lowest.
Interesting.
But I mean, he's rarely had a stinker.
Dude, he's apparently cool too. Like I heard this story secondhand of like from somebody who met him apparently. I was like, oh, I'm a big fan. And he was like, he just like wanted to talk about his shit with the guy. He's like, oh, really? What's your favorite one? And the guy was like, oh, and he's like, oh yeah, dude, that one. I love that one. Like that's cool to me that he's like psyched about his own shit too.
Yeah. Yeah, you see?
He
He was on Tarantino was on Rogan recently, and he talked
really?
about working at the video store out in California. Just he's a great guy. I love his story
worked at
too.
Blockbuster,
Interesting dude. Yeah, working at it wasn't Blockbuster. It was like a more mom and pop shop.
And he was just like writing the whole time.
Writing, was trying to meet the right people, meet people that were had the same values as him, and it took him a while.
Classic
and he finally
LA
found
tale.
them, and then he made his movies, and fake it till you make it. And he's fantastic. I love how he defends his movies. When Django came out, it was so controversial. And then, Samuel L. Jackson comes out when people are accusing him of being racist, saying he's the least racist person I know, because every movie that he's casted me in, I play the smartest character every single time. And so he's argued, he's like, Tarantino cannot be racist because I'm always playing the guy that knows the most. That's just subconsciously can't do that.
He has great performances in those.
Yeah, Django's my favorite movie. If I had to pick one, just the impressionable age I was like 14 or something when it came out, along with just having not felt the same way seeing any movie since. I think it's a perfect film.
It's good. It's really good. Dude, it's funny we're talking about all this. And I know I like to give my thoughts about like all the award season stuff, but I went to a feedback screening yesterday, and it was like such an interesting experience. So like the people who were doing it, I know them. So they're like, hey, we're doing this like feedback screening. Do you want to come? I'm like, yeah, sure. So, and I knew that like the studio would be there, and like, it's a feedback screening, and they're there. They're sitting there. And these are people that I know. So in my head, I'm like, obviously, and maybe this defeats the purpose. I know they want feedback about the movie or whatever, but like, and I think that they had to do it. I don't know if they like chose. I don't just know the specifics around that, but like, it's this room full of people. I don't, most of the people in that room are not filmmakers, myself included. Okay. I know I make like my videos and shit, but this is different than what this is. This is like a studio scripted movie. I don't do that at all. And of course I have my opinions about shit, but like, who cares? Like, whatever. But like, I was shocked at how critical people were.
And who are these people?
I think a lot of them knew the people, and they're sitting there like saying they don't like it, or like saying that, like just picking it apart. And like a lot of the time, dude, like hot takes that I just didn't even agree with. I'm like, and not that my opinion is better than theirs, but like they just seemed like bad takes. They're like, I would have liked to see, like they were talking in a way like they thought they were like film critics. Dude, it was so annoying. I was like, you guys are so annoying. This is such an annoying group of people.
You should have stood up and said that.
Your friends are sitting right there. When's the last time you made a fucking movie? What do you do?
Well, that's what I guess how do they seem to receive it?
fine. Like they like knew what it was. And the one dude, like the main dude at the end, I was like, dude, I don't know like how you put yourself through that. He's like, he's like, they would have been even meaner if I wasn't sitting here. He's like, it's good. He's like, I know what I need to do. I'm like, good for you, dude. And
Good for him.
And then the girl who I know, I was texting with her about it, and she was like, oh, thanks. It was so helpful. And like, I was pushing. I was like that's ridiculous. Like the amount of people in that room who like, apparently they're all filmmakers. And then she like started to sort of admit like the ridiculousness and irony behind that. But like, it was super annoying, man.
Damn.
It annoyed the shit out of me.
Did you have any critiques?
Fuck no.
It's probably hard to even think of one.
And bro,
right
if I
after
did,
watching.
I'm going to just start saying it in front of these people. Like, who am I to give them feedback about their thing? If I was forced to do that, I would want it all people I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because like suddenly my fucking idiot boy who doesn't do shit is telling me, oh, the middle dragged.
You see more nudity?
Yeah. And I just felt like the relationships didn't seem realistic. You know, I was really invested in the relationships and I was like, dude, fuck that. So anyway, I just tried to think of like really insightful things to say that were very positive the whole time.
Yeah.
Fuck this, dude. The fucking studios in here taking notes. Fuck them.
I think this movie shouldn't come out.
Yeah, dude. Like, and the lady like moderating it too was annoying the shit out of me. Like, she's like, oh yeah. She's like, that sounded similar to what you said to me. I'm like, that's not what I said. I started like getting feisty, dude. I was like, that's not what I said. Actually, don't tell me what I said.
I don't know if I've seen you feisty in the wild yet.
I got feisty, bro.
Damn. Yeah, I really think this film, it would, the story would move a little bit, better pacing if it was in black and white. That's just a feeling I have.
Dude, one guy, this was like a Portlandia sketch. One guy was literally like, it was nice to see like females like dictate the story. I was like, dude, shut up.
Is that all you had to say?
Shut up, dude. It's really great to see. Shut up, bro. This guy reminded me of the fucking dude who I saw in Brooklyn the other day wearing a Breathe Right strip, who was neither coming to or going to or coming from playing sports. He was just wearing a Breathe Right strip to go to get coffee.
It's coming from Whole Foods.
Fucking Darwinism fucking right in front of your face. Bro, what are you doing, bro?
He's trying his best.
He's a little bitch.
He's trying his best, Giulio. People in Brooklyn just trying their best.
God. But anyway, this movie was good. Ultimately, like very good. I'm excited to see it. I'm not supposed to talk about it.
I hope they don't make too many changes if you liked how it came out.
I mean, bro, whatever. Like, good for you guys for making a fucking feature film with a star-studded cast. Like, this is sick. Good for you. We should all be like worshiping the ground you walk on instead of sitting here giving you feedback when none of us are qualified to do so.
How long was the feedback session?
Probably 20 minutes.
Okay.
They made us fill out a survey first, which was fine. And then we had to have this conversation. And she kept being like, by a show of hands. I'm like, bro, I'm not fucking putting my hand up.
You don't like putting your hand
I'm not
up.
putting my hand up.
You don't like being part of a herd.
Is that, you think so?
The buffets, it's very herd-like.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't like being shepherded around. I get that.
Maybe that's a bad quality.
Do you feel like you should want to be shepherded?
Maybe I shouldn't care so much. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, bro, who cares? But I'm like, I fucking care. Fuck this.
Put your hand up. No, it's a turkey move, man. It's a turkey move, man. Raising my hand, like what?
Turkey move to put the hand up.
How many minutes, if you had to, it's the only way you could get your next project online, your next video, before you post it, you have to do a screening. How many minutes of feedback do you think you could handle before you want to swallow the eye of a rifle?
Man, my feedback process, and Stephen King, I think I mentioned this on a recent pod, but like.
You did this book.
Yeah, On Writing, which I think is behind me somewhere.
It is.
Really? Can you see it?
I saw it last week. I can't see it right now.
Great book. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I see it. It's above. It's the third book up. It's tucked on top of the Apartments Therapy book.
If you're creating things, it's helpful. But just because like he talks about how having one really trusted person whose opinion you really like is really, really helpful. And like, I of course need feedback and like to get it and like want to get it. But you can get into this like feedback loop where suddenly like nothing means anything. And it's just like opinions that don't matter. That can be true sometimes. So like, of course, if a bunch of people are like saying the same thing, I will of course take it into account. I also am very critical of myself. So like there's a lot of scenarios where like a video will come out that everybody likes and I don't like it. In fact, most of the time I'm like, I don't like it after I'm done with it. There's a few exceptions, but you know, and I always want to be better and make better stuff. But like asking random people who don't know any better sometimes is not it. Including advice, bro. Like I get a lot of advice from people about like what kind of things I should be making or doing. And it bothers me.
That's fair.
Why?
You're your own man.
People are like, oh, it looks like this sort of thing is really working, so you should do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
You're able to decipher, you know, someone that like really means it versus someone who thinks they're being polite when they're giving suggestions like that. I feel like you can like decipher the difference between someone who thinks they know better versus someone who's just trying to support you.
It depends who's doing it. So like it's annoying in general, but it's more annoying coming from one type of person than another type of
Gotcha.
person.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
And there's certain people who I just like fundamentally disagree with their approach to things. So like I know people who think that, you know, there's a certain way to do things for success. And I just like a lot of the time just like fundamentally disagree with it. So like I sometimes get annoyed getting it peddled to me. And it's funny, I was thinking about some of the people I know who've like started to do really well. And there's this like confidence that comes with breaking through and doing really well, where like you suddenly don't have to be as amicable because it doesn't matter. So like in the comedy scene, you get here and you want to make your mark. So you want to be friends and you're being nice and like, you're being agreeable and you're hanging. And then maybe one day you start to do really well and suddenly you're not like that anymore. Now that's fine, but there is like, and I was trying to think what the distinction is between just confidence versus a person also becoming a little bit of a dick. And I do think that there's a kind of a fine line between those two things. It's one thing if like, oh, this guy's just speaking freely and doesn't care what anybody thinks. That's not necessarily a problem. Go off, king. Do your thing. But it can get to a point where it's like, now that person like is ignoring you. You hit them up about something, no reply. I'm like, damn, dude. I remember when like this dynamic was reversed and I would never done that shit to you. Like that annoys me.
That hurts.
But there's no scenario where random people aren't annoying. And I think like realizing that is important because like, say you're doing amazing. Everybody wants to be your friend. You can just be like a dick and it doesn't matter. People still are like, my relationship with this person is too important. He can do whatever he wants to me and I'll still be there. Mm-hmm. And you just don't respect that person. You're like, you're fucking like, and then you start to find everybody to be annoying because everybody just wants a piece of your action. But then maybe you start doing not quite as well. And now suddenly those people aren't paying attention to you as much. And that's annoying too. Annoying people are annoying no matter where you're at. So it's like important to kind of realize that. And I hope that I don't allow people to like warp me the way that I see it to other people. And it certainly has already to some degree, but like, I just hope it doesn't become bad. I don't want to be bitter all the time. You know what I mean? And hopefully this doesn't make me sound bitter. It's more of me just like reflecting on it all, more so than my own personal feelings about any of this stuff. Although I resonate with a lot of the specifics that I said for sure, but I don't know. Hopefully it's not my driving force.
You know what's the best thing about you saying that in this particular situation?
What?
Is because we're on a podcast. And that's exactly what that's for.
For what?
You don't need to say like, oh, am I getting too into it or not? Like you're on a podcast. That's what this is. This is the platform to talk about that. And yeah, I get what you're like, you know, you have someone's opinion that you value. And as long as that person's in your life at the same level.
Back to the feedback combo.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a good way to look, you don't want to be stubborn and dense and like unwilling to make good decisions for yourself. You know what I mean? But, you know, you also have to be confident in your decision making. And that can breed, sometimes like that can go hand in hand with being a dick. So being overly confident sometimes also coincides with like bad personality traits, narcissism, disregarding people, being hard-headed and stubborn. But like sometimes, you know, if you're consistent and you weather the storm, then they call you fucking genius later. No one believed in you, and now suddenly everybody's like, oh, he knew the whole time. So who knows what side of that you and I are going to fall on, or any of us, but it's an interesting thing to think about. Well, on that note, Lynch.
On that note, some good wisdom, some good reflection. And you can check us out at oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. All socials at oopsthepodcast. You can email us at oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Matt Ryan is really polite. Check out my socials for any updates. And Giulio, what's going on with you?
NotJulio.com for tickets. Check out my special. Please share it with people, comment, all that stuff helps a lot and helps keep driving the growth, because if that special were to do really well, and it already is, so thank you for everybody who supported it. The better it does, the better I'm going to do in my career. So please help me.
We'll see you guys on Thursday.